A very good evening to everyone. We, the team of Petroleum Engineers Association, is delighted to organize the webinar session on the theme Cement Evaluation using CBL Video Theory and Interpretation. We are very pleased to introduce Divyani Mishra ma'am, who will be speaker for our today's session. She is Senior Production Engineer and Well Integrity Engineer at Schlumberger. She completed her BTech in Petroleum Engineering from IIT ISM Dhanbad and also have 8 years of experience in oil and gas industry. At this time, I would like to inform that there will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation where you can post your question on the chat box. Also, we are YouTube live so that you can access from there and share with your friend. Now, I would like Divyani Mishra ma'am to start the session on the theme cement evaluation using CBL video theory and interpretation. Thank you. You can start, ma'am.
Thanks, Nikhil, for such a wonderful introduction. So, hello everyone. I'm Divyani Mishra. I'm currently working as Senior Production and Well Integrated Engineer in Schlumberger, based in Kuwait. So, for today's session, I will take the civil cement bond log, variable density log, theory and interpretation. So, this is going to be agenda for today's presentation. First, I will give brief overview about what is well integrity and what are commonly available industry tools to evaluate well integrity. Okay. Then we will see what are different primary objective of primary cementing, and then I will explain few terms which we use in cement evaluation. After that, we will see what is CVL VDL, what is physics of measurement, and basic interpretation. Okay. So let me first give you overview of well integrity. So whenever we hear this term well integrity, we think about only two terms, corrosion or cement. But actually the scope of well integrity is much beyond these two terms. In well integrity, we deal with mainly two areas to determine the condition of tubular. Tubular can be either casing or tubing. Sometimes we also check different walls, different walls. So this kind of thing we deal in pipe integrity or tubular condition evaluation. So in this, we deal with whether the casing or tubing is corroded or even there is any wear in the tubing or casing. Because what happens if well is in the place with because in well there are many operations ongoing. So any of these operations can cause any damage in the tubing. There can be wear in the tubing. Sometimes this tubing or casing get distorted. Their cross section from the circular, it becomes distorted. And what happens with course of time because of corrosion, actually the internal diameter of the tubing or casing can also change with course of time. So using these different pipe integrity tools, we can determine these things. Also, there is sometimes deposition in the casing in form of scaling or wax. So these things we deal in tabular evaluation. The second aspect is annular condition evaluation. So you must be all knowing about how critical is to have this hydraulic isolation inside the well. In absence of hydraulic isolation, there can be catastrophic events. You must have heard about many of such events. Okay, so this isolation can be achieved either by cement or sometimes formation even collapse and create barrier inside the well. So just because these two measurements are related and most of the tools we use to evaluate pipe and pipe condition and annular condition are, so these tools actually work on similar principles. So that's why we always deal with two together. Okay. So now I will tell you what are different common tools we use in industry to evaluate this cement and casing. So as I already mentioned, there are two aspects, cement and pipe inside this well integrity. For cement, we have sonic tools and ultrasonic tools. For pipe integrity evaluation, we use ultrasonic tools. There are mechanical caliper tools. We have electromagnetic tools. So for today's presentation, I will focus mainly on this sonic tool, which is most basic tool. And from sonic tool, we get measurement called CBL VDL, which is cement bond log and variable density log. So we will focus here. Okay. So let's understand why we do cementing. What are different objective of cementing? So as you all, most of you are petroleum engineer, you must be aware that we have different types of casing, right? So these are four common type of casing: conductor casing, surface, intermediate, and production. I'm sure you all have gone through your drilling classes. So how a well is created, right? First we drill the well, we put casing, we cement it, then we drill the next section, we put casing, we cement it. So this is how we do cementing. So client is actually pumping the cement, but sometimes what happens, cement is not doing its intended purpose. Let's say cement is being lost to a fracture. So client just pump the cement, but they don't know whether it is actually isolating the well or not. So in order to understand actually this cement what we pumped is doing it intended purpose, we do cement evaluation, whether cement is set perfectly, if there is any channeling or anything else, that we do under cement evaluation. Okay, so why cement is very important, as you all know that it's required because we are drilling the well, we are actually disturbing the naturally formation, right? So in order to restore its isolation back, we actually cement. Okay, it's actually one of the most event in the construction of the well. So this is picture of Gulf of Mexico accident. I'm sure most of you have watched this movie Deepwater Horizon. So no need to explain how important it is to have well integrity, because if well integrity is compromised, then such accidents are not very rare. So it is very important to ensure that well integrity of the any well is intact. So in this slide, I will explain what are different objectives of primary cementing. So here I have two snapshot. On left hand side, there's so I will explain what are different terms here. So this is a well actually borehole. Then this is casing. Then this is a cement. And here we have two zones. One is oil bearing and another is water zone. So here we have good cement on left hand side. In right hand side, if you see, there's not good cement between oil and water zone. So what happens? Actually, client want to produce oil, right? No one wants to produce water. So client has perforated this water bearing zone and want to produce, oil bearing. So client want to produce oil, right? So client has perforated this oil bearing zone and wanted to produce oil. But if cement is not good here, actually water can flow from this zone behind the casing and can enter into the well through the perforation across the oil zone. And this mix of the fluid will produce to the surface. This is what client doesn't want, right? They want to produce oil. So this is one of the objective to avoid the mixing of unwanted fluids. Then if cement is not good till the surface, this fluid actually can flow through the endless to the surface. This is we don't want. And also if cement is not good, it can lead to cross flow. So those who don't that is know what is cross flow, actually what happens, so different there are different reservoir present, right? Different layers with different pressure. So actually if there is pressure difference between two layers, fluid can flow from higher pressure zone to lower pressure zone. This is known as cross flow. So if there is barrier between these two zones, there is no path for fluid to flow. But if there's a free path, there's no cement, then fluid can actually flow from one zone to another zone. This is we don't want. So this is one of the objective of cementing. And also, if fluid is flowing, let's say water is flowing here, and what most of the time water is saline in nature, so it can actually cause the corrosion of the casing in the contact. So this is another objective we want to avoid. And cement also provide support to the casing. If cement is absent, so there are chances that casing might collapse. So these are common types of objective of primary cementing. So I'm going to take this session today is how to evaluate the cement, because client already pumped cement, but now after pumping cement, we run different tools to check how is the cement quality behind the casing. Because here, if you see, there's no good cement, but here we have cement. Somewhere we have cement, somewhere we don't have, right? So this is we need to check. So before going into detail, I want you to know few basic terms we use in cement evaluation. So this is one casing, this is another casing. Okay, so this where we have two casing outside, this is known as dual casing environment. And here we these are two types of cement. One is tail cement, one another is lead cement. This is two stage cement job done. Above cement we have a fluid. So fluid can be either liquid, gas, or sometimes mud. So it can be anything. So the shallowest depth till which we have cement is known as top of cement. Okay. Then another term is microannuals. So what happens when we do cementing job, because inside the well we have heavy cement, so pressure inside the well is relatively high. But once cementing job is done, the fluid inside the well is replaced with lighter fluid like brine or water or some mud. So because of pressure differential, sometimes a very small narrow gap is created between casing and cement. This is known as microannulus. Then there's another term. So before actually doing cementing job, because first we do drilling, and drilling we use mud, right? So surface of hole is not clean. So before doing any cementing job, client actually clean the well, clean the do scraper run, so that there's no mud particle left on the surface of the hole. Because if there's mud particle, it actually mix with the cement and get it contaminated, so quality of cement becomes bad. So we don't want this. So if mud particle is present at interface, we say it poor cement to formation bond. So actually here we deal with two interface. One is casing to cement, another is cement to formation. Okay. And then sometimes, as I mentioned, mud can contaminate, or even sometimes formation fluid like oil from the formation also can contaminate the cement. So these are common terms. So now, because now client already had cemented and they want to run any sonic tool. So whenever client go for any operation in the well, they always have some fixed objective in the mind, right? Because client is intelligent one, right? They don't want to run anything without any objective. So before running any sonic tool, what are different client objective, what can be different type of objective. So these are few objectives can be achieved with this sonic tool. So first one is check the integrity of cement, whether we have good cement, good isolation or not. Then what is strength of cement? So strength you can understand in the terms of what I mentioned, contaminated cement, so its strength will not be that good. Then if there is any channel present in the cement in the annulus or not. And if there is channel, let's say sometimes there is no isolation, so client also want to go for squeeze job. So whether squeeze job will be successful, and where's the top of cement. So these are some of the objectives client want to know before running any sonic tool. So this is typical civil video log which we see. So I will explain what are different curves here. So in first track, I will explain all this in detail in coming slides. It's just a presentation of the log. So in first track, we have this TT, which is transit time. Then we have gamma ray and we have CCL, casing collar locator and gamma ray. And in second track, we have CBL amplitude, which is in millivolt. And in last track, we have VDL. VDL is actually waveform. So we will see what are these terms in coming slides. So let me give you introduction about physics of measurement. So before going into detail, let's understand few terms. So as you all know that velocity is distance by time. We define another term, slowness, which is reciprocal of velocity, which is time by distance. So understand like this, because CBL VDL is based on the principle of sonic wave traveling through different media. So we know that sonic speed is highest in denser medium, right? So in casing, it's high. In cement, it's slightly lower. Formation even lower, and fluid it is lowest. So we call it casing is the fastest media usually, then cement, then formation and fluid. So this is because when we fire pulses, it travel through different media. So this is the principle behind the CBL VDL. There's another term known as acoustic impedance, which is a product of density of material and compressional velocity of the sound in the media. So this is very important concept. This is actually principle of all the sonic and ultrasonic measurements. So try to understand that. Okay, so here we have different media. So let's say Z1 is casing, steel, the gray one, and this blue one is water. In second snapshot, this Z gray one is casing, and second one is cement. So whenever any signal fall into interface, there is always some signal reflected back and some is transmitted. The amount that is reflected and transmitted depends on the acoustic impedance contrast between two media of the interface. Okay, so in case of here, when we have water, the contrast between acoustic impedance of steel and water is high because casing is made of steel is high. So most of the signal will reflect back and a little amount of signal will transmit. In other words, if we have cement outside the casing, because contrast between steel and cement is less, the high proportion of signal will transmit and less amount of signal will reflect back. Okay, so the signal that is transmitted is actually being lost to the outside environment. So this is the very simple thing and important thing. This is the principle of sonic tools. Okay, so this is how typical tool looks like. In this sonic tool, we have one transmitter and two receiver. One receiver is at 3 feet from transmitter and another one is at 5 feet from the transmitter. So here this transmitter sends sonic pulse in all direction. Okay, and because the signal travel through different paths, some signal will travel through casing, some will travel through the borehole, some will travel through cement, some will travel through formation, and these signals are being received at different receivers, R1 and R2, two receivers, and we analyze the received signal. So from this 3-feet receiver, we receive serial amplitude measurement, and from 5-feet receiver, we receive radial variable density log measurement. So now let's understand. So let's say if you have one bell, you are ringing it. Okay. So it will be louder. But if you will put your hand on this bell, the sound will be less louder, right? So this is how this tool works. So if there's no cement in the annulus and we are sending signal, the casing is free to vibrate. So in that case, the sound, the strength of signal we receive at the receiver will be high. But if there is cement, the some part of signal will be lost. It means casing is not free to vibrate. So strength of the signal we will receive will be of lower strength. This is very simple and important thing. So from three, as I mentioned, from 3 feet we receive serial measurement, from 5 feet we receive radial measurement. And just because it's based on the path traveled by different signals, it is very important that tool be centered inside the well. Because if tool will be centered, the path traveled by different signal will be not balanced and hence the measurement will not be reliable. Did you hear the sound? I hope you did. So this is how we fire the pulse. Let's say at t equal to t naught, pulse is fired, and here a transmitter, and after some time, like because sound takes some time to reach from here to here, and we receive signals like this waveform at receiver after some time. Okay. So actually, what is CPL? So at 3 feet, let's say we receive this waveform. CPL is actually amplitude, first amplitude, and it gives indication of how is cement bond casing to cement interface. So as we saw that in other slide that we have different media. So actually sound wave travel from different paths. So first amplitude we receive is actually from the fastest path, which is through the casing. So the signal that is traveling from here transmitter and going through the casing will be received first. So first signal is always through the casing. So this is known as CBL. E1 is actually CBL amplitude. The time at what we receive the first amplitude is known as transit time. So this time is from firing the pulse and receiving the first signal is transit time, and first amplitude is CBL amplitude. Very simple. What is its meaning? So here, if you see, there's no cement, so casing is actually free to vibrate. But if there's cement in the endless, actually movement is restricted. And if you notice amplitude, this amplitude has also reduced. Earlier it was higher in free pipe, and in good bonded, actually this amplitude had reduced because the signal we are sending, because we have cement, the transmittance is high and signal will be lost to the outer formation, and the signal we receive is the reflected one, which is lesser of the strength. Now let's understand what is VDL. So we receive similar waveform at 5 feet receiver. Okay. So actually we analyze whole waveform. In CBL, we just consider the first amplitude, but in VDL, we analyze the whole waveform we receive. So again, here also the initial peaks will be corresponding to the fastest media. If we are sending signal from here, it will travel through casing and will get received here at 5 feet receiver. And if cement is good, some signal will transmit from this interface to the cement and then to the formation, and later on time it will get received at the receiver. So this is actually time. Horizontal scale is time. So in later part of time we receive this zigzag kind of stripes, which is formation arrivals. Then at the end we receive fluid arrivals. I will show you why we receive these signals at different type. I have this slide in next slide actually. So this slide is showing how actually VDL plot is generated. So let's say this is a signal we are receiving, cut it into half, then assign this colored scale as per its amplitude value. This is top view. And just because we are recording this data across the depth, this is plot we get across the depth. Yeah. And early part of signal is casing arrivals. Then we have formation arrival. Then we have mud arrival. So why these signals are received at different time, we will see. Let's have a rough calculation here. Okay. So for casing, let's say here is transmitter, the signal has to travel this part, some part in borehole, then casing, then borehole, and get received. So here this is calculation. Time will be fluid plus casing plus fluid. So let's assume that this distance is 3 inch. So 3 by 12 will be feet, and slowness is 189 for fluid plus 3 feet in the casing, because space between transmitter and receiver is 3 feet, into 57 slowness of the casing plus again in the fluid. So it comes around 265. Now let's calculate the time for formation arrival. It's 3 inch we assume. Let's assume that 2 inch is the thickness of cement. So 2 times, because we are covering this twice, into 3 by 12 feet. 189 is slowness of the fluid. 2 is the thickness of the cement. 75 is slowness of cement. And then 3 feet inside the casing. Sorry, inside the formation, because we are calculating formation time. Yeah, so it's coming around 420. Earlier it was, for casing arrival time was around, let's say 260, and now we are getting it later. So that's why we are getting this formation arrival later in time. Now let's calculate the time for formation, this fluid arrival. So for fluid, the signal just has to travel inside the well. So 3 feet into slowness of the fluid, 189. So it's highest. So the latest we receive is fluid arrivals. Very simple. So now let's see the basic interpretation of CBL VDL. So CBL VDL interpretation is very straightforward. If you understand the physics of measurement. So lower the amplitude, better is cement, and amplitude is high, it means almost no cement or very poor cement. So here in this well, we don't have actually a good cement bond. Okay, we have free pipe. So amplitude that we receive in free pipe is typically known as free pipe amplitude. So for different casings, actually we know what are the amplitude value of different casings. So we know that. So see, if lower the amplitude, if in free pipe we receive higher amplitude, but if this is one of the log of free pipe. So again, in first track we have a CCL, which is casing collar locator. So you must be knowing that casing is, different strings of casing are threaded together. So these are casing joints. Where in CCL you see actually some spikes. Then we have transit time. Transit time, as I explained, is the time of arrival of CBL amplitude. And then we have gamma ray. So most of time gamma ray and the CCL are used for depth correlation. So all logs has to be depth correlated with respect to some reference log provided by client open hole logs. Okay. Then we have this track in which we have CBL amplitude. So scale is 0 to 100. So you can see that amplitude is reading somewhere 62, 63. So it looks like it's 7-inch casing, because in for 7-inch casing, amplitude is around 62, 63 for free pipe. And on VDL, you just see straight arrivals. So we just have casing arrivals. We don't have formation arrival because there's no good cement. If there's no good cement, we will not see good formation arrivals. Yeah, so this def match. Another scenario is when we have good cement. So here in red one, we have CBL amplitude received when there's free pipe. The green one is when there is good cement. So amplitude has reduced. How log looks like in case of good cement. So again, same thing here. We have gamma ray, CCL and TT. Here this is CBL amplitude. As you can see, value has reduced. So it means there's good cement. On VDL, if cement to casing bond is very good, means casing signal will be low. So contrast will be very low. So if you see, this is all grayed out. But if we have cement to formation bond, which is very good, it means more signal is transmitting to the formation and strength of the signal that is being received will be higher. So better is cement to formation bond, better is the strength of the formation signal received. So this is very perfect example. Attenuated casing arrivals and good formation arrival. It means both cement to casing and cement to formation bonds are perfect. In case of irregular bond, means it's not perfect, we have some contamination, so amplitude will be in between free pipe and good cement. This is such example. Here in CBL, if you see, CBL is varying somewhere, at some depth it is high, then reducing, high, reducing. Yeah. And if you see on the VDL, same thing you can see here. Let's say here at around above 750 feet or meter, CBL amplitude is high. So you will see high contrast on the casing arrivals. Below that, where CBL amplitude has reduced, the contrast, this casing arrivals are grayed out, means contrast has reduced. And we have not very good formation arrivals. It means cement is poor both to casing and formation. Yeah, medium CBL amplitude. So there's another term known as fast formation. So what I explained you earlier, that casing is the fastest media. But what happens, sometimes some formation are even faster than casing, especially the carbonate formation. So first arrival, ideally we should receive from casing, but sometimes first arrival is not through the casing but through the formation, because formation is very fast. The speed of sound wave in the formation is faster than the steel. In that case, we receive formation signal before the casing arrival. So actually in these cases, we should be very careful while doing interpretation. because if you see Sevier amplitude is very high, so we might say that cement bond is good, not good, but actually this is not the case. This is because of formation, fast formation. So we need to be very careful while doing interpretation of Sevier law. Okay. Now I have presented here two examples on left hand side. So if you see here, red is Sevier amplitude, value is very low, then it has increased slightly, and then again decrease below 35, 36 and somewhere 37, whatever, 100 depth. Okay. So actually there's chances that there's channel present here. And if you see the casing arrivals on VDL, you see that across where Sevier amplitude is slightly high, the contrast of the casing arrivals has become higher. Above there's grayed out. Here we have slightly higher contrast, and we are seeing good formation arrivals. On the right hand side snapshot, in here in Sevier amplitude, we see that amplitude is medium kind of, it's not very low or very high. So cement is possibly contaminated. It's not very perfect, but it's not very bad as well. Cement to casing bond is okay, and we see some formation arrivals as well. In this example, again, this example of good cement to casing and cement to formation bond. So here Sevier amplitude is low. This I have used different palette for VDL. So casing arrivals are very fronted. Almost these are great. So we have good cement to casing bond. We see some formation arrivals, good formation arrivals. So both cement to casing and cement to formation bond is good. Here in this example, again, if you see Sevier amplitude is very high, means we have very poor or free pipe section. And on the VDL, we mostly see this straight casing arrivals, no formation arrivals. These are possibly mud arrivals in later part of signal. So this is example of poor cement job. So this is the conclusion slide. So this is just summary of what we discussed. You can read it and understand. So for free pipe, amplitude should be high, and on VDL we see casing arrivals and usually no formation arrivals. So if we have good both casing to cement formation, cement bond and cement to formation bond, Sevier amplitude will be low. We will see very fainted casing arrivals or no casing arrivals, and we will see good formation arrivals. If we have good casing to cement bond but not good cement to formation bond, we see amplitude is low. Cement to casing arrivals will be weak, and we will see no or very moderate or weak formation arrivals. If we have poor to casing bond, so amplitude will be either medium or high, strong casing arrivals and no formation arrival. In case of channeling, the amplitude will be again medium or high, again depends on the how wide the channel is. We will see formation arrivals because some azimuth of cross section is covered with cement, so we will receive formation arrival and we will receive both casing and formation. For fast arrivals, amplitude will be high because first signal will be from the formation, not from the casing. We see casing arrivals and formation arrival, and casing arrivals will be masked. I think that's it. Yeah, from my side, thank you. And if you have any question, you can ask me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, if you have any question, you can put on your chat box. I think we have not got any question, ma'am.
No question? Perfect.
Yes, my first question, ma'am. What are the units for CBL and video log?
You have question, what?
What are the units for CBL and video logs?
What are the units of?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so unit of CBL is millivolt, I explained, and VDL is microsecond, it's time. So
Okay.
MV is millivolt, it's amplitude, and VDL is US is actually microsecond, it's time, because we are receiving waveform with respect to time. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, our next question, ma'am. I send you, ma'am. It was really an engineering session. My question are, what the difference between microannulus and channeling?
Okay. So microannulus is actually very tiny gap, and channeling is actually slightly bigger gap. Okay. Channeling can be very big. So microannulus actually, most of the cases, it doesn't allow fluid to flow through it. Yeah. So gap is, size of your hair. So it's called microannulus, and channel is can be big. So channel is not good. Microannulus is okay sometimes.
Yes, ma'am. Our next question, ma'am. I send
Mhm.
you. Overall, VDL is to determine the bond between casing and formation, cementing and formation.
VDL actually give indication of both. Okay. So I will show the example. Where was good cement bond example? Yeah. Okay. So here, CBL is just for casing to cement. So from VDL, we get idea of both. So if casing to cement bond is good, the casing arrivals there will be less contrast. And if cement to formation bond is good, we will get good formation arrivals. Okay. So it gives an indication of both.
Okay. Our next question, ma'am. Ma'am, how can we vary transit time in various time intervals?
Sorry, what?
How can we vary transit time in various time intervals?
How can transit time varies in time interval? Sorry, I your voice is not clear. Where can I see chat box?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you
Sending
please
you, ma'am.
type? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
How can we vary transit time in various time intervals? Ma'am, could you please calculation once again? Okay. So time intervals. I'm not sure I understand the question, but again, I can explain you that this time calculation I can show you. It varies on the casing size, type of fluid inside the well. So here, because casing, so we are traveling here, we are assuming that this casing size, this distance is 3 inch. Okay. So if casing is bigger, let's say 13 3 by 8 inch casing, so this distance will be around 6 inch. So this is one factor. Fluid, here we are assuming that fluid slowness is 189, but sometimes we have OBM, oil based mud inside the well. Their slowness is very high, can be 250, 270, 280. So there are different factors. So one is casing size, another is fluid type. So these are factors which affect this transit time calculation. Okay, so we need to do this calculation before job. Actually, we do job planning. So accordingly, we actually set different gates. So principle is in while acquisition, we do this calculation. Is this the same you asked or anything else?
I think it will be pushed in our chat box now. Our next question, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Its bond log is beneficial for CBM?
Is cement bond log is beneficial for CBM? So actually, what we are doing, right? So we are measuring cement quality, right? So it doesn't depend on the well type. So if we have if we are cementing any well, whether it's a CBM, so what is it? CBM has similar. Let me remember. Similar well, and if we are doing cementing, then it is useful. Yeah. Ma'am, is there any reason? What is name? Ma'am, can okay. There are different questions. Which there are many questions, right?
Yes,
Let
ma'am.
me
Yes, ma'am.
take. Just wait one by one. Let me take. It is
Yeah, one
important
by one.
to evaluate the cement. It is important to evaluate the cement bond quality behind. Is it important to? Of course, it is important, right?
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
if there's no isolation, there can be accident.
Okay, ma'am. Our next question.
And
Uh,
ma'am, can you please explain what happens when DT formation is less than DT cement, like in case of carbon? Yes, this is I explained, right, in fast formation. So in that cases, where's that slide? Yeah. So in that cases, actually fast formation most of the time happens because of good cement. Because if there's no good cement, this sound path cannot travel from tool to inside the formation. So it implies that they're good cement. But even though we have some advanced measurement, we have ultrasonic measurement, we have IBC measurement on which we rely. CBL is very basic tool. So we have advanced measurement, we run those tools and then we do interpretation. Okay, and what else? And next question is, ma'am, is there any reason for usage of only one transmitter and it can use two transmitter? Yeah, so this is the most basic tool. So we have many tools, sonic tools. We have advanced tools like we have the sonic scanner. We have in Schlumberger tools, I'm saying we have array sonic tools, which have 11, 12 different types of many sensors actually. Okay. So we have these tools, but this principle is same. We have one transmitter, distance between transmitter and receiver is 3 feet and 5 feet. But we have combination of this. We have.
Which is higher?
Sorry?
Okay,
which is the high impedance casing or cement? Of course, casing, which is around 46 something, and cement is usually in less than 10, 6, 7 plus G cement.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Density in velocity. Velocity in the casing is much higher. So, yeah. Ma'am, why casing are state in VDL? Transfer formation. Okay, yeah. So casing. So this is something. So question is why casing arrivals are state in VDL and information it's wavy. So actually, this is a signal we are receiving with respect to time. So because casing, it's of uniform, just steel. So there is not variation in the time we receive. But in formation, because formation actually always follows this gamma ray, because formation is not homogeneous. Sometimes we have high shelliness, shell to sand content varies, and it affects the sound velocity, right, in that media. So it traces the gamma ray, which are wavy. And then why should be the minimum? What should be the minimum height of cement in the annulus? There's no minimum height. Different countries, different client have their different specification. It varies from country to country as per the country standard. Okay, some client wants 100 meter, some want 500 meter, so it's varies. Okay, for after secondary cement over, we will use the CBL video or not? It should be used, yeah, but client sometimes doesn't want to run again because there are different cost factors. So it's good to have post squeeze job. Okay, and then why casing arrivals are state? This question I answered. Maybe for any secondary cement over, we will use this CBL video or not? Okay, so again, these questions are repeating.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. In some
One
cases
last
of
question, ma'am. I think this will.
in some cases of cementing, there will be improper cement fill. So how is CBL video log respond? Yeah, so this is what I showed. If this cement job is not perfect, so it's in some intervals it can be better than other. So wherever there is not perfect, CBL amplitude will be high or medium, and if it is in intervals where there is good cement, it will be lower. So it will be mixed response actually. Yeah, and any other question?
Yes, ma'am. Do CBL and VDL develop triple casing cement?
Okay, there are many questions. Okay, I'm scrolling. Some cementing there. Okay, then should we use retarder additives in cement bond lock test? So I'm not in cementing. I don't deal with cementing. But what is question? Because I'm doing cement interpretation. Should we use retarder additives in cement bond? So retarder actually what it does, it slows the cement setting time. Okay. So it's part of cement job planning. So as per, while doing cementing job planning, that is different. So we consider different factors. So again, if it is needed in that part, it's not just straightforward yes or no. Again, it depends what are different well conditions, whether there is what formation type. So again, there are different factors. Okay. And then if the casing to cement bond good, but cement to formation bond is poor, can we cement job set to be good and vice versa? No, so we just say that cement to casing bond is good. We don't, and we mentioned that cement to formation bond is poor. So it's not good. It can't be perfect, right? Like, because if there's no cement at the cement to formation interface, fluid can flow through that, right? If fluid can, there's path for fluid to flow, then it cannot be considered as good cement bond. And vice versa, no. So either of case, no. If there is a path for fluid to flow, then it's not good. Wherever the path is, doesn't matter. Should we use it additive in same question? Additive in cement bond log means additive is part of cement, not CBL log, right? This question I don't understand. Retarded additive should be part of cement, not the log. Cement bond has. So casing to okay. Vice versa. Do CBL video works in double or triple casing cement jaw? So question is subjective. Okay. So in case of dual or triple casing section, so in single casing section, it's good. But in double or triple casing section, it is very subjective. CBL amplitude is, I would say from my experience, is reliable. Again, depends on the size of outer casing and inner casing. So if gap between outer and inner casing is slightly higher, so CBL amplitude sometimes is reliable, sometimes not. But VDL is not reliable at all, because for VDL, in order to receive formation arrival, signals should travel through the formation, but we have outer casing, so signal will not travel through the formation, but will travel through the outer casing because it has steel, right? So VDL is not reliable, but CBL amplitude sometimes is okay, not bad. Triple and so either it's double or triple, it's going to be same. Multiple casing section. Do CBL video work in, yeah, same question. Can you please explain the formula of CBL? There is no formula of CBL. CBL is just amplitude we measure. There are different correction we apply. So this is very complex formula. I'm sure you don't want, and actually this is confidential, Shrambajar, so I can't share that formula. Just remember there are different correction we apply on the CBL amplitude from this fluid correction, cement correction. There are different factors, okay?
Ma'am, how to correlate GR log and CBL?
How to correlate gamma ray law and CBL? So actually, you don't correlate gamma ray and CBL. Actually, I will tell you how we do correlation log. So when we do CBL, right? So client already has gamma ray from open hole log. And CBL VDL is cased whole log, because once casing is there and cement is there, then only we are running this tool. So along with this tool, CBL Sonic tool, we also have gamma ray measurement PBMS module. Okay, so we actually left correlate the gamma ray acquired along with CBL with the gamma ray from open hole. Okay, so that way, because gamma ray and CBL that we acquire at the same time all are already on the depth match with respect to each other, we just shift the gamma ray with respect to open hole, and at the same time, if we are shifting gamma ray, CBL is also gets shifted. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Our next question, ma'am, can you explain radial CBL in brief?
Okay, next question is, how is casing taken out for repair purpose or casing change? This is how is the casing taken out for repair purpose or casing change? This is how is the cement and casing separated? That is how, I'm not sure, that is how, our question is how is casing? Okay, so thing is that it's called plug and cut and pull operations we do. Okay, so it's not like that you pull out a of the whole casing and repair and pull and put it back. It doesn't happen like this. You just pull out and because you cut the casing, right? So tubing you can do, but casing is most of the time cemented, so it's very difficult to pull any casing if it is cemented. So so we have advanced tool sonic scanner or IBC. We run that, we check for this section which is free, it's not cemented or very less cemented. We identify the best point where we can cut and retrieve the casing. Okay, so it has many factors. Okay, so yeah, this is how, so this is how we do it. Once means if there's good cement, so it's very difficult to cut and pull out. Maybe in parts, smaller section, client can cut and pull, but it will be long process. Then ma'am, can you please throw some light on tubular inspection? Okay, means this is not a scope of this webinar, but overview tool and why these are so. Okay, I can give brief overview. What is next question? When can you throw some light tubular? Okay, what can be? Okay, there are many. These are all, are there many? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
I will come into tubular thing. And the next question is, what can we access a log run in heavy mud, and we know that heavy mud can have low severe rainfalls. Yeah, so good question. So in heavy mud, because we know the type of mud, so we apply actually different mud correction, fluid correction. There's called fluid correction factor, FCF. So we take into account that factor in measurement. We apply different correction, fluid correction, cement type correction. There are different corrections. So we actually apply correction so that CPL amplitude is representative of cement to, casing to cement bond. Yeah. Can we assess a log run in heavy mud and no? Yeah, same question. Can you please explain radial CVL in brief? I'm not sure what is radial CVL. I haven't heard of this term. Civil, I'm not sure. Means I don't know if this. I don't know. Radial civil. Who is this Adil? Can you explain where have you heard this term? Because I haven't heard in last 8 years. Maybe something else you mean, and term I know is different.
If cell conductivity is more, which log is best suitable, ma'am?
Sorry?
If cell conductivity is more, which log is best suitable?
Shell conductivity is more. I'm not sure how conductivity is coming into factor. This is not conductivity, right? So which log is the best suitable? Which log means CBL video or ultrasonic? I'm not sure what is the question. So cement, any cement means CBL video is most basic. There are advanced ultrasonic and IBC logs, so those are always better. But I don't think conductivity of shell is any factor. So shell is factor when shell is factor while setting of the cement. So if we have shell, we usually because shell has this hydration content, setting is good. Cement is usually good across the shell, but its conductivity doesn't have a factor in cement evaluation. And CVL video run in OBM? Yeah, of course it can be run in OBM well, any type of fluid. Okay. If yeah, so that's it. So I will show this pipe integrity thing. Where's that slide? So this webinar was not intended to describe pipe integrity, but let me give you a brief. So this ultrasonic measurement, we have UC tool. So from that UC tool, we get internal radius of the casing. We get the thickness of the casing. So this is one tool. We have mechanical caliper tool. From that tool, we get internal radius of the casing. We have electromagnetic tool. From that, we get total metal thickness of the casing. So based on these things, we actually can know whether there's corrosion, or even if there's a scale or those things we can actually evaluate. And if you want to know details about this, you can contact me personally, and or even you can Google on Schlumberger website. Everything is there. Okay, so you can find different tools and what are their roles. Okay, if you have further interest, you can contact
Sure,
me.
ma'am.
Yeah, and any
More
question?
question?
Can we get this presentation? Okay. So, ma'am, can you have a we will see about this certification. I think that's it, no?
Yes, ma'am.
I
So,
think I covered all the question, right? Ma'am, does give correct? Okay, ma'am, does this tool always gives correct reading? What do you mean by this? Means I'm not sure. So there are different factors. Tool works fine, but there are other environmental factors, right? So yeah, so as I mentioned that it is very important that tool should be centered in the well. In one of the slide I showed. So let me explain over there. Mhm. Yeah. So what happens if well is very deviated? Yeah. And if there's some debris in the well, we lower the tool. We actually use centralizers along with the tool. So that tool is centered with respect to well. But sometimes centralizer got damaged downhole. We don't know. So tool becomes eccentered, something like that. So in that cases, our reading will not be reliable. Okay. So this is the one scenario. Another scenario is in case of multiple casing. So it's not a problem of the tool, but actually it's the scenario. This is one thing. In case of micro annulus, measurements are affected. So sometimes in micro annulus, so again, micro annulus are two types, wet and dry. So there are other factors in which measurement become less reliable. So that's why we have other advanced measurement. This is most basic one, but civil VDL is a good measurement, but basic one. We have another tools, advanced tools. So that's why we refer always run civil VDL along with those tools. Okay. So always give correct readings. Most of time, yes. Can we run these tools other than wireline? For example, Slickline, civil video slick. I think we run it on wireline or we can run on coil tubing. Okay, coil tubing, not with slickline, wireline or coil tubing. Again, I'm not in operations. I'm office based. I don't do operations. Don't go on field. But as per my knowledge, it's wireline. Yeah. Can we run these tools other than wireline? Same question. Yeah.
yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, I think all this for the today's question, and the more questions
Is
we will
there
send
also
to.
LWD, MWD tool? Yes, there are many LWD, and these are tools, right? So I'm not
Yes,
sure what the question is. Maybe he's asking whether we can do civil VDL using this tool, something like that. So with LWD, we are developing one product, the SI, yeah, no, QBI, yeah, quality bond, yeah. So we can get this indication. It's not civil VDL, but there's one product which gives indication of cement bond quality. Yeah, there it's still under development. It's okay. Yeah. Next question is, how should we identify the perfect bonding in graph? Can you brief me about the fast formation? What does it mean? How and when channeling forms, and mostly in which formation? Any other logs except these two? There are many questions. It's all from same person or different persons?
ma'am. Different person, ma'am.
Oh,
Different person, ma'am.
okay. So first question, how should we identify the perfect bonding in the graph? I'm not sure what is graph is. Graph means log.
Yes, ma'am. Log, I think, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So logging, I showed you, right? One example of good bond. So let me go to that slide. Yeah. So here means it's almost perfect bond. So in perfect bond scenario, serial amplitude is very low, almost 2-3 millivolt. The casing arrivals on the VDL is almost grayed out, means this amplitude of casing is so less that contrast is very low. Then formation arrivals are very clear and contrast is high, so it is very perfect job. So if you see something similar, so you can say that bond is almost perfect. Can you brief me about the fast formation? What does this mean? Okay, fast formation, I explained. So here, okay, this table, you see dt of slowness of the casing is 57, but for carbonate we have sometimes around 53 microsecond. It means let's say we are sending signal from here, so we expect that first arrival will be from the casing, but if there is one path available which is even faster than the casing, means speed of sound in that media is faster than the casing, so first amplitude we will receive will be through the formation, not through the casing. So fast means faster than this casing, steel casing. For example, so yeah, here. So if you see at few places here or here, this wavy structure formation arrival, this straight one is casing, let's say red line is casing coming before. This is time scale. So let's say around 250, we are receiving casing arrivals. Formation arrivals is being received at around 100 microsecond, for example. It's coming before the casing. So this, even in transit time, you can see this is usually, ideally transit time should be straight one, but here if you see here transit time is lower, scale is 400 to 200, decreasing scale, so lower. So if you see signal received is early, then casing, we say that is formation. What is next question? Mhm. Fast formation, what does this mean? I hope this is clear. How and when channeling forms, and mostly in which formation, any other cement, other locks except this two. Okay, so channeling can be formed because of many reasons. I might have some slides if you want. Let me try to find. So one is if mud is this but I need to share other. So if hole is not clean, there's mud particle trapped, so it can cause less than perfect job. Another thing is if well is deviated, so because of deviation, the mud particles tend to settle towards the lower side of the well. And when later on, when we do cementing, cement will not reach there. One another thing can be if casing is not centralized proper inside the borehole. In that case, because we client doesn't you didn't use a centralizer, casing centralizer, so casing might touch the formation towards the one side, so then cement cannot reach towards the narrow side, so it can cause channel. These are few scenarios. Yeah, let me check if there's any slide I should be having. I think I explained. I'm not able to find there many slides. So, uh,
I
and
think
and
no
if we
question.
have any question, let me check. So these are different factors. So weather can be mud particle or mud settled or orientation of casing. If casing is not centralized or cement pumped is not perfect, sometimes cement get lost to the fracture. So this can be another reason. How and eventually form mostly in the formation. Any other log is except probably you mean severe radial. So there is USIT measurement. There's IBC measurement. So we have different tools. These are most basic tools. So yeah, I think that's it. No, Nikhil.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. If we get more question, we'll forward to your mail ID, ma'am. So
So
thanks to all for your valuable time and cooperation to make the event successful. I, on behalf of the Petroleum Engineers Association, thank Divyani Mishra ma'am for her presence and providing us time from her very busy schedule. Thanking her for his informative and valuable presentation. Hope all of you have enjoyed this knowledge sharing session. I am thankful to all for your active participation. I extend my big thanks to all my team members for their extensive support. Thank you so much, ma'am.
thank you, Nikhil, for organizing this session. It was good. Thanks.
Yeah, ma'am. Have a good day, ma'am.
Yeah, you too. All have a good night. Yeah.
Bye bye, ma'am.